mash on that play button.
All right, we're
All
going.
right, we're doing this. It's a good start. It's a good day. Sunny, 85. 10% chance of precipitation in the afternoon.
Is it really?
And, yeah.
It's pretty humid outside.
But we wouldn't know. We were in a nice, cool, air-conditioned basement.
We're in the basement. AC is on.
That's the true nerd haven. No sunlight possible whatsoever.
Well, there's a little window, but I have a curtain on that.
And we try to stay away from the little window.
The one little bit of light that actually gets to sneak in, I make sure that we have that covered.
Don't your bare skin hit it, burst into flame. Oh wait, am I talking about nerds or vampires? I don't know. Let's get to it, man.
All right.
This is hard. You say it.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. This is PodQuest, the premier advice channel for nerds. I'm Corey Boucher.
And I'm Max Heckert.
And we are going to talk your ear off, essentially, is what we're going to do. Would you like to talk a little about what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, I guess. You don't have to ask me so formally. I'm right here. We're both wearing like cargo shorts. I don't see any fancy ties or anything. We're talking about Hearthstone today. Anything about Hearthstone, anything goes. We love this game. It's the best card game I've ever played from Blizzard. And that'll be our episode for this week.
Yeah, this is PodQuest, the Hearthstone episode.
That's right.
There you go. There's our title. We've worked that in. I think the Family Guy joke where you have to work the title into.
That's right.
The name.
He said it. He said the name on the show. Oh God. When next week it'll be something else, but this week it's Hearthstone, and it's always going to be something we love. So why not start strong with something we both love and play a lot?
I'm sure eventually we'll talk about something we hate. I'm sure we could find things we hate that we can talk about for a while.
That's true. I do have a lot of hate built up in my heart, just ready to go.
Just bitter.
Yeah, we could switch over to my ex-girlfriend real quick. I could just get some of that out of my system.
Just get that crust off your heart a little bit. The acidic coating.
Yeah, or no, just let me play Hearthstone. Let's just cut the episode and go back to playing Hearthstone. I'm itching right now. I haven't played Miracle Rogue in like 2 hours.
All right,
I'm getting all these feels over my body.
All right, let's start off with what do we like about the game?
Sure, Hearthstone. Well, let me explain a little bit about it. It's a trading card game that's exclusively online because all the cards require a computer to sort of generate all the random number-generated facts and features of it.
Yeah, and unlike a traditional game, you can't trade cards with people.
That's right. I wish they could. I wish.
I remember listening to Blizzard. I think it was at BlizzCon, or I don't remember where they made the announcement, but someone asked why they didn't go with the trading card feature. And the reason they went with the dust system that they have instead of the trading card feature was because they were afraid of new players coming in being taken advantage of by the more experienced players. So
That's
you open a pack and you get Leroy,
and
you're like, well, this card's stupid. They get
minions too.
Yeah, I'm never putting this. And then some random person's like, oh yeah, that card's terrible. Here, I have this awesome
Bestial Wrath.
Yeah, this card is so great. Let me take that here because we have to trade. So it's fair. Let me take your Leroy, that crappy card.
I'm in it for the collecting purposes. I don't really need to play.
And then a couple months go by and you play more, and you're sitting there one night in bed and you're like, that fucker,
that guy, I got smooth criminaled. You got hit by, you got struck by. Better player. There was one. Oh, I was just thinking Farsight would be like the perfect card to trade a newbie because it sounds so good on paper. It's like ooh. What fancy graphics and everything?
Well, what's the Paladin card where the card you draw, you do that damage?
Holy Wrath.
You should totally take this Holy Wrath for your Leroy. That's gonna be it's the law of equivalent exchange right there.
That's right. Think about it. You draw a Molten Giant, and they go, "What's a Molten Giant?" You go, "Don't even worry about it. You'll know one day."
One day.
So one day you'll know, and I'm gonna be long gone by then. But if I could trade cards, I'd do it reasonably. Because I really need a Blood Knight. Where am I going to get one?
I wish I had, or not a Black Knight. That's the one I'm thinking of. I really wish I had Black Knight. There's a couple decks I have going on right now that I would love to add that in.
That's what I love about Hearthstone is the meta is bringing Black Knight back. It used to be, and then everyone stopped running Taunt because it was like there's no point to it because they just get phoned. And now they're running Taunt again. All the zoos are putting the Voidwalkers in, the Ramp Druid, the Druid. So now Black Knight's coming back in. It's so good. I'm not even mad when I get Black Knighted.
Did you go through that phase when you first started playing where you're making your deck and you're like, Taunt, this is the most OP thing ever. They can't attack me. They have to deal with that. Every Taunt card going in the deck.
Goldshire Footman, get in there. Give me some value. Oh man, I thought summoning creatures was the end all be all like way the game was played. So I picked shaman, and it was like totems, man. This kind of like creatures, and I could spam one out every turn.
I remember watching streams before I got into the beta and thinking to myself that shaman's gonna be the most OP class. You can summon a creature that gives bonus effects whenever you want.
Yeah, seriously, whenever you just press the button, you get a random one like in a gumball machine, just pops them out for you. And then you play shaman and you realize you keep getting the healing totem, and you're like, well, you know what, this isn't so great.
All I like is a taunt totem right now. That'd be great.
Yeah, if they could all just be taunt totems, I'd make that sacrifice. So, my totems are normally not as good as the other people's totems. Like when someone's playing against you, they get the spell totem exactly right time.
Yeah, well, when you're playing against a shaman, they're like, here's the spell totem.
And here's the lightning storm.
Here's the lightning
awesome.
storm.
So glad you got that 1 in 4 chance.
Then you have lethal next turn as long as they don't play a taunt. They get a taunt, and they have no totems on the board. So they have, a 1 in 4 chance?
Yeah, 1 in 4 chance anytime, and it's like, oh, there's the taunt. I lose.
I have 2 totems on the board, so I have a 50-50, and I get the wrong one.
Ugh. That's RNG for you, man. I think that's the best way to put RNG in the small things, as opposed to Tinkmaster, who was just like destroying the game. Every good creature you had was basically going to get polymorphed by any class that wanted to.
So what do we like about Hearthstone now that we've complained about all these things that are terrible?
I love laddering.
You know what I like about this game? I like how bullshit it is that I never get the totem that I want.
My favorite part is enemies mad bombers. Those are the best. I love them so much. I actually really do like laddering. I haven't had this much fun laddering in a game ever. I did a lot of my laddering in League of Legends. I did a tiny bit in StarCraft, but I was just not good enough. I realized I wasn't going to get any higher up that ladder by reaching for rungs. I was just going to stand on the floor.
Actually, it's interesting that you mentioned ladder because I haven't really given it that much thought, but it's a real. It has a pro and con I never really thought of, and I came from StarCraft, and I did a little bit of League of Legends, and I hate playing ranked in League of Legends. I avoid it at all costs. StarCraft I didn't mind too much because I was much more competitive minded.
Mm-hmm.
But there was still that anxiety that went with, well, if I lose, I'm losing my rank. I don't have that in Hearthstone. I don't care if I lose all my stars and drop to 20 because I'll just go on a winning streak and go back to 10.
Exactly. The lower you are in the rank, the more fun the games are because you just start stomping newbies that are hanging up by the 20s.
Yeah, but I've never really given that much thought. But I realized I've never had that ladder anxiety. I never play normal, even if it's a deck that I think is gonna be terrible. There's no point. I might as well just throw it into ranked because if I beat someone in ranked, it's hilarious.
It's rewarding. I switch over to casual if I have to do a quest that day because I feel like people don't try as hard in normals.
Yeah, if it's that weird quest get the 5 wins as priest.
Yeah, just switch on over because it's gonna take a little while to get 5 wins on the ladder. But when I do casual, there's that handlock who's like, I'm also going to do casual. No, get your ass out of here. This isn't for you.
I need to practice my handlock today.
You have the best deck in the game. Go to ranks and get out of my face. Get legend and then stop and stream. Don't come to me with your problems.
On the flip side of the ladder, though, it's a little unrewarding. Is that the word I'm looking for? It's a little
fruitless,
lackluster.
Lackluster, yeah.
It's a little lackluster though when you do rank up because there's so little consequence to it. Like in StarCraft, I remember there was that huge achievement feeling of when I hit platinum. It was because I made that achievement. I had improved my play, I had improved my mechanics. I knew I got there.
And League of Legends throws you into a whole new group of people every time you go up. And then they give you that half promise that you'll never go back down as long as you keep trying really hard.
This is the greener grass. You've made it, my friend.
And that just raises the stakes so much that it's hard to just enjoy yourself playing the game because you're constantly thinking about that ranking that you've fought for. Blood, sweat, and tears have gone into it.
And between the two, I'd have to say I like Hearthstone better. I like not worrying about it as much. But still, I don't know. I've never hit Legend. Maybe when I hit that point, that'll be the moment that I get that sense of achievement. Like, I did this. This is mine.
This is the first season I'm actually going to go out and try to be Legend. Really put the games in.
As soon as I catch up on the meta, that's my goal. That's actually all I was doing today and yesterday is I was going through, net decks to figure out what the latest decks are, and I was copying them.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I want to go to Legend with them, but because I'm just going to play them until I figure them out. Because I have no idea what the meta is. For me, Murlocs.
Nope. All right, stop you right there.
That's still current, right?
That's a good example. That's a really good example of how out of touch you are. And there's nothing wrong with Murloc decks. It's just you don't see them anymore.
I hated them. I never played a Murloc deck unless I needed like my 2 Warlock wins for the day.
But nowadays there's just the zoo for that.
Yeah.
Go to the zoo, the zoo, the zoo.
And zoo I understand. Like zoo I get, Control Warrior I get, Miracle Rogue I get. It's the more fringe ones like the mid-range Hunter I don't know.
Mid-range Hunter, the general just classic Shaman. Watcher Druid, token Druid.
Watcher Druid is actually the one I'm playing a lot right now to figure out, because that's the one that I've never played a lot of Druid or Hunter, to be entirely honest. So whenever those metas shift, I'm like, well, I don't even know the class to begin with. So that's currently my project for myself, is I'm trying to make up.
That's a good plan.
Like Rogue, Paladin if it was still a thing, and Shaman. Those are the 3 decks I get, because I played a lot of those. And Mage to a smaller extent.
I'm learning to love Rogue. That was the last class I came to. But what I'm realizing is I love decks that have like a gimmick to them. And not necessarily like a gimmick like a bad thing, but it's just like they have a different way to play. You can't just throw your cards out willy-nilly. Like you could with a Rush Hunter.
Yeah. Or even like a Zoo.
Yeah, or even the Zoo. Although I like the Zoo because I like the theme. I like it when decks have themes. Where it's like, hey, you can call it a really funny name. And it's like, it makes sense. Like there's a Safari for Hunters. Zoo for Warlocks, so you bring out those little ones. And I love the Miracle Rogue because it's like, what a perfect name. Because that's what it feels like every time you win. You draw 8 cards and you're like, I got it. I got the final card I needed. Like it's like
I have Exodia.
It's Exodia. I was about to say. It's like assembling Exodia. I'll have that in Spike. We had to go back. Mark the time. We got too excited about Yu-Gi-Oh.
If we cap at any point in this podcast, it's because we mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh and we're like, oh yeah, those were the days, man. I remember, I'm going to go completely off topic. I remember elementary school, before Yu-Gi-Oh cards got banned, Pokemon cards had just been banned. Yu-Gi-Oh was coming out on TV. And I remember that being the thing, man. I was awesome at Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't remember being awesome at Pokemon, but I remember the Yu-Gi-Oh phase where I would look for people to challenge because I knew I was going to win.
I don't think I was ever that good at Yu-Gi-Oh, but I loved it.
I remember a friend took me to his youth group, and I found out some of the people, like, the way their format was like a Wednesday night thing, like one of those, like, come Wednesday night for, like, a little Bible study, and then we play, like, group building games kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
And there was always time afterwards where people were waiting to be picked up, and I found out a couple of the people there played Yu-Gi-Oh, so I started bringing my deck to crush people.
In a church.
Because that was the kind of person I was. I'm like, oh, you play Yu-Gi-Oh too? Well, let me just kick your butt.
Yeah, I just want to give you a little confidence boost. It's like learning how to play tic-tac-toe perfectly and then challenging a child. And you're like, interesting move. Going for the corner first, I see. And tic-tac-toe. You're never going to accomplish anything, kid.
So hopefully I successfully crush some self-esteem of some young children while in a church.
I found Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a lot easier to blame the cards than Hearthstone is. Because I think there's so many more cards in Yu-Gi-Oh!
There are. And
the rare ones are really rare. Like, it's not an online game where you can just build them yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning, wow, that's a deep reference for some Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans. That fucker's just going to just take you down. You have nothing to say about it. Because you'll never get a card that good.
And for my street rep, this was before the major Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments where a lot of cards are banned. Like, this was back when I could run Pot of Greed and stuff like that in my Yu-Gi-Oh! deck.
Exactly, you just get as many Pot of Greeds as you can find.
I'm hoping someone somewhere knows Yu-Gi-Oh! enough to be like, damn, that guy knows his shit.
Yeah, Pot of Greed, man. That was game. I got a Yada Garazu. One of the best cards in the entire game that is banned from day one. It's like, no tournaments allowed. What it does is, if it hits you, you can't draw your next turn. So you essentially just do that and it's like, oh, I have no cards. You complete and you just keep attacking them with a little raven. Yeah. It just at any point in the game you can just win by hitting them with a crow.
Well, that's what I think when you see the Hearthstone cards that didn't make it into Hearthstone. Like the one that whenever you mouse over it, you take 1 damage.
Oh my god, I saw that. Yeah, like really, really interesting concept of something that I would just destroy myself on.
Actually, on that note, I've never seen what is the what's the dragon that lowers your turn time?
Nostormo.
It begins with an N.
Yeah. Nosdormo. It's something very close to
Yeah.
Norse Dormo.
The End Dragon.
Yeah, the End Dragon, and he gives you 15 seconds to play. I almost want a game type where it's as if Nosdormu was there all the time, and you only have 15 seconds to make your play. Because I would crush in that.
You know, it'd be an interesting meta if like Miracle Rogues became the top deck, and all other decks
Oh
started
my
running
God.
that. So you have 15 seconds to plan out your plays with the Miracle deck.
Not even playing out. It takes longer than 15 seconds to execute your plays.
Yeah, like the animations are so long. Like you're in between shadow stepping, and it's like, oh, time up.
I can't believe how many times I've gotten to the rope just by playing Miracle Rogue. I know I don't deliberate at all. I just in my gut, I go with my gut feeling every single time. And it takes me a good 80 seconds to finish a turn. If you can't ripping 6-7 cards at a turn,
Yeah.
Eventually you just run out of stuff to do, and it's like, oh, I'm done, I guess. I'll try to do the exact same thing I just did next turn.
I had a really dumb moment the other day where recently my girlfriend and her parents came into town. So
I was personal. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel like a man that day. No.
Oh, well, good. I'll put it in my notes.
No, nothing makes me feel like a man. One day I will grow a beard, and then maybe I will feel slightly manly.
Me too.
But for now, I'm just gonna be a goat. No, but my girlfriend's parents came into town, and I was playing Hearthstone on the iPad, and I've realized the disadvantage of the iPad is that you can sit it down, because we were cooking breakfast. They had come in the night before. We had gone out for dinner, and then everybody crashed because they had been driving for hours. So they were exhausted. I didn't get to like show them around the house or anything. So they were getting up that morning, and me and my girlfriend were making breakfast. And they were coming and they were asking questions like, where's the bathroom? Where can we find towels, toiletries?
Sure.
all that stuff for
Classic
morning
stuff.
routines. But I was in the middle of making eggs and playing Hearthstone.
So you're like you've divided all of your attention.
So I completely forgot I was playing Hearthstone, and I think I was playing Zoo or Miracle Rogue. I don't remember which I was playing. Something where my turn's important, like
something where you have to fill the board, or else you're gonna fall behind real quick.
And it was the opponent's turn, and I was like, okay, great. They'll play their turn. I'm gonna put the iPad down. I'm gonna go show them where the towels are. And then I came back, and then I had to help with the eggs, and then like I made someone coffee, and I looked back, and I looked down to see my second turn in as the rope's burning down.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna come back and be like, defeat, all the flag banners destroyed.
No,
I don't feel so bad about that.
I completely missed my turn. And
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with losing my turn. I just go. I quit. Enjoy your free win.
I won though.
So
that's the best part. I came back a turn and a half in. I managed to play
that's so embarrassing for that one guy. It couldn't be you. You gave him a 2-turn head start.
I feel bad because I wonder if on the other side he's thinking that I AFK'd. He's like, oh, I'm gonna just play all my minions now and win.
Yeah, normally you think they AFK, so I try to make the quickest play possible because I'm kind of a dick like that. Where it's like, oh, they're clearly not here. Let me try to get my turn over real quick, make it theirs. Because once you get it to where it turns to the rope automatically, it's over. It's over. Meta. Is that one of your questions? What's
we
the meta?
We could do meta. I was gonna make you talk about yourself. Now I've
my
talked
turn.
about my personal life.
Yeah, you had your personal life. My family's doing well. No one's gotten in a temper tantrum in a long time, or no one's thrown a huge fit. These are all grown adults, but they still do this stuff. No one has freakouts. It's been very mellow.
Other than getting egged.
Oh yeah, it hasn't been mellow, has it? That kind of reminds me. I'm not gonna tell that story here. I don't think.
All right, that's fine.
I gotta give it more time. I gotta give the time of day to make sure I tell the story about how I got arrested and make it interesting.
All right. And that's
it.
Good,
I give him a little
it's
tease.
a teaser too.
Just a little tease. Yeah.
Now everyone's gonna want to know.
I was in the clink overnight.
I also feel like I made you a liar too. You're like, oh no, everything's fine. What about when you got egged? All right, okay, everything's not fine. Thanks.
Yeah, okay, thanks a lot, Corey.
All right, meta. Let's talk about meta.
That's what I love about Hearthstone, is that it's slowly, every time a deck gets good, someone goes, well, that deck loses to this deck, and you just keep playing rock, paper, scissors with a million different combinations. And I love rock, paper, scissors. There's a version of rock, paper, scissors that has like 10 or 12 variations, like snake beats rock, a rock beats snake beats paper, scissors beats snake. Snake isn't good against the main ones, but snake also beats water or beats dog, weird things like that. Dynamite.
I'm gonna take your word on that. I'm
gonna find a link to it. If we put this on YouTube, I'll I'll put a link to
All right.
the picture.
This is gonna be something everybody knows about, and I've just completely made
No,
a fool
no,
of
no.
my.
This is really weird. I found it on StumbleUpon like 3 years ago, and I was like, you know what? One day I'll have a really good friend, and we'll just learn these. We'll learn these, and we'll use it to settle debates.
I was really afraid that was gonna be like, I've never heard of that, and everyone in the entire world is like, really? You've never heard of that?
And close podcast.
If you could go crawl in a hole and die, that would probably be best for humanity. You should not reproduce.
Wow, audience, jeez, take it easy.
Damn,
Just
you don't know one thing, and all of a sudden everybody's all up.
We're just supposed to be having fun here, audience. God, chill out. Have a drink or something. You're too edgy right now. We don't want you at our party. Have some snack mix.
But as for meta, that's actually going back to the whole that I think Murlocs are still cool.
Mm-hmm.
Even from a beta perspective, because I remember playing in the beta, and now granted, some of my perspectives of meta are more influenced by dramatic card changes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think in beta, priests were considered absolutely OP because of mind control. Now, granted, mind control was nerfed, and that started the shift.
That's true.
But from a meta perspective, mind control was incredibly dominant, so everybody was running priest. And because everybody was running peace, because everyone had the peace in them, because everyone was running priest.
Are you carrying a piece right now?
I am carrying a coffee.
Okay.
Which is...
I don't know, I can't tell if that's a gun or you're just happy to see me.
The energy of the caffeine in this coffee is really getting me going.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad it is. Glad we got some coffee for you. But you were saying everyone runs priest, and after that...
Everyone is running priest, so everyone has Shadow Word Death and Shadow Word Pain. The magic spot between those is the 4-cost minions.
Mm-hmm.
So when priest was the OP class, all other classes started running 4 damage minions. So like, even though there was a clearly OP class, everyone else that wanted to play other things was adapting the meta to that.
You could find a way to play around it and still be a reasonable deck.
Yeah.
Have Yetis, Dark Scale Healers, Sunwalkers. That's a huge one. You play a Sunwalker against a priest, I almost just like leave immediately because it's not worth it. It's not worth putting that much effort into killing a minion.
And then obviously mind control got nerfed. The cost went up.
I missed that one. That's about right when I joined.
And then was Mage the next one? I can't remember if it was Mage that came up next or Paladin. I think it was Mage because then Paladin was the counter to Mage.
Mage where you just play free spells every single turn, do 20 points, do 10 points worth of damage, and then double Pyroblast. It's a pretty simple equation.
I don't remember really quite what was next, but that's another great example of, Mage decks started becoming incredibly popular, the freeze mechanics. So Paladin decks became hugely popular in retaliation because they had so much heal.
And you could just heal yourself up and be like, no, try to Pyroblast me now.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
But like, those are great examples of just the way people have adapted to the meta. And now, granted, like I said, those are all card changes of why those things shifted. But even now, we're seeing like nothing's really changed with Murlocs, but Murlocs are dying out.
Because people are more equipped to deal with them in the terms of tempo. There's a tempo rogue, a tempo warlock, the zoo. Is very strong on tempo.
There's it's not important.
Yeah,
I'm going to continue my point, which is even what you were saying earlier about Black Knight, about how it's coming back. Like we see these cards, they kind of come in and out, and these aren't card changes that are causing this. It's what people are playing.
It's just the times you see another goddamn taunt, and I cannot stand this. A taunt every single game. Wait a minute.
I have a card
None
that deals
shall
with that.
pass. Yeah, perfect. That's the backbreaker of my mid-range hunter. Because all I try to do is I try to get taunt onto my Stranglethorn Tiger or Scar, and it's like I'm done. I got Mark of the Wild or whatever. I got a 8/7 minion with taunt. I'm just gonna try to run you over, and then Black Knight. That's all it takes. Just a few cards here and there to tweak a main deck, and it's a whole meta shift.
The one thing I don't like about the way meta shift is the core cards stay the same most of the time. Some are completely off the wall from the core cards. But normally it's the legendary cards that shift. And I only have like 4 legendaries.
I know. Where are all these professionals getting their legendaries? I assume they're just pouring money in.
I've thrown $90 at this game. I am ashamed to admit that, but I have.
I've thrown 20, and so it's not, you're not alone completely, but at 90s, that's high.
I would be in a better situation if I wouldn't have ignorantly made Sylvanas Windrunner over Leroy. I was 50.
Just doing it. At the time, she was fantastic.
Yeah, at the time, she was like the number one card in every single deck, and then I made her, and then right after that, they nerfed her, and then Leroy became the one in every deck. And I was 50-50 between the two. And I wasn't playing during that week where they nerfed her.
And so you couldn't get your full dust back.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have anyway, because I felt so accomplished to finally get another legendary too.
One. That's the one thing I don't like about meta is people get ragey. I'm not really happy with the community's stance on hunters because A, I love hunters, and B, you're just bitter because you're losing to hunters. Huntard, that's what they're called now, which I think is really harsh.
Here's my general mentality towards hunters. I think the like flat out rush hunter, the one that like has nothing above like a 3-cost minion,
bluegill warrior, wolf rider, just like any crappy charge minion they can get.
I think that one takes no skill to play.
It's so easy. That's the first deck I ever got good at.
And when I'm feeling good and I lose to it, I'll admit that I have that moment of rage where this is bullshit. But I don't blame the person for playing it. Like if you have the mentality of I want to get to the highest I can in the ladder, why wouldn't you play a hunter? Why wouldn't you play a warlock?
Exactly. Everyone else is using the same tools at their disposal to beat you. Why you feel like you have to take the high road and lose with dignity? No, just win without it. That's fine.
Like I really miss playing Paladin, so I'm gonna play Paladin later today, and I'm probably not gonna win a single match. I'm not gonna be upset at the Hunter Warlock that beats me because I know Paladin is in a bad spot right now in the meta. But I want to play Paladin. It's my fault for playing Paladin.
Yeah, you don't need to get salty about it. I love the phrase salty. This is the first time salt has ever been really integrated in my vocabulary by watching Hearthstone. It's just, I don't know, it's just that face. You just get salty. You're just like, God damn it, you lucky son of a bitch! I saw you play that card right off the top of your deck. Didn't even make it into your hand. I won't have this. I had you beat.
And you know what? You do get salty a little bit when someone like top decks Leroy or something like that. Like it's natural human response that when you're trying at something and you lose, you get a little upset. Like, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-mm.
But, like, it's not the other person's fault. If you were the other way around,
would you be like, this isn't fair. I just got this.
Oh, I
just got this card.
They have 6 health and I top deck Leroy. You know what? I'm going to give them one more turn to see if they can come out of this, and then...
Yeah, because I don't want to crush them too bad. I don't want to crush their hopes and dreams. I want to give them a little light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And it's a different thing if you're fishing. If you're fishing for a top deck where you're actually drawing several cards at a time, that's okay with me. Because odds are you were going to get it eventually. And you put the effort in to draw more cards. That's why I like Miracle Rogue. I don't think it's not unfair, is it? I mean, are there cards that are actually unfair and make you not want to have fun, not want to play the game anymore?
I don't think so.
Everyone says doggies, but I disagree.
Everyone has a lot of issue with Unleash the Hounds. I like the nerf that it's going. Is it 2 to 3 or 3 to 4?
2 to 3.
2 to 3?
Yeah. It's going from 2 mana to 3 mana.
I'm fine with that because my issue with Unleash the Hounds has always been that you can Buzzard Unleash the Hounds and then do something else, especially like if it's later in the game, so you have like all this mana to play around with.
And you Buzzard Unleash Hounds and then you get 3 cards, and that increases your chances of finding all your Timberwolves. Yeah.
So like I like that change. I agree though. I was reading on Reddit that someone proposed, and a lot of people were backing it up, that they should leave Unleash the Hounds where it is, but they should make a Hunter's Mark. Is that the 0 cost?
Yeah, things that bring it down to 0.
That they should
down to 1 health.
That they should make it like a 1 cost. Because a lot of people were making the argument that it's not so much that Unleash the Hounds is the issue, it's that
it's the fact that you can Unleash the Hounds and then clear the board really easily.
It's that you can Buzzard, Unleash the Hounds, Dire Wolf, and then Hunter's Mark, 2 high threats, all in the same turn.
Timberwolf.
Or Timberwolf.
There is another wolf called... Is he called Dire Wolf? The one that gives 2 attack to each side of him?
The wolf that gives... You know what? This is like it for being too specific. The wolf that gives you 2 attack. That's the one that
I think it's called Dire Wolf, but Timberwolf's the one that gives all your beasts 1.
Yeah, that sounds.
And
right.
You want to think of it like not Hearthstone, Hunter's Mark, it's already making you 2 for 1 for most times. Like you use Hunter Mark and then you play Stone Tusk Boar, and it's like, hey, I just played 2 cards to kill any creature that I want to kill. So you think of it that way, it's fair at 0. I heard another change proposition that I thought was actually really interesting. When a hunter plays tracking, you should be able to see the 2 cards that he discards.
I agree. I think
that would be really cool. Because there's a lot of times where I'm a mid-range hunter and I play tracking turn 1. The buzzard that I want is right there, and then Leroy and Explosive Trapper on the other side of him. And I go, I'm not going to hold on to Leroy for 6 turns. I'm going to actually get a card that I can play.
Mm-hmm.
If my opponent saw me discard Leroy Jenkins, I would be in a much worse position than I was a second ago.
No, I agree. I think that'd be great. I mean, because you get to see the cards that your opponent loses when they overdraw.
When they discard from the Warlock's hand. Exactly.
I think it would be fair. And it would be a more universal mechanic, too. Because it's one of those things that right now the mechanic's kind of 50-50. Like, in terms of the Warlock or overdrawing, it does one thing. But in terms of, like, the tracking, it does a different.
They just disappear. You never see them again.
I mean, because I've played against Warlocks where I've seen them, like, Soulfire, and then I see them lose, like, Doomguard or something like that.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. I'm giving Doomguard the finger, by the way, listeners. That card is so good.
If you couldn't hear the finger.
Yeah, if you couldn't hear it, here. Rub it on the microphone. That's the bird.
Oh, I'm hoping that your finger is what you're rubbing against the microphone.
Can you not see me from over there?
Okay, ruin the illusion. That's fine. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about esports.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really broached that in any of our ramblings yet.
Our previous ramblings, sure.
I know Korea, I keep falling asleep every time I try to watch it, but right now Korea has the OGN Invitational. I keep watching the semifinals and I keep falling asleep halfway through like Artosis's match.
I haven't seen the Korea one.
Oh, it's really good. Well, the match with against Artosis, I don't remember the guy's name. But that one wasn't too interesting because the guy should have won the first match and then just misplays. The second match he just gets owned, and then I fall asleep before the third one. So
is it best of 5?
It's a best of 5.
That's a lot of. Well, you know what?
Well, it's the semifinals.
Yeah, I don't think best of 5 is not that bad actually.
And I feel like I saw who won on Reddit, but I didn't pay that close attention because I wanted to actually watch the finals.
But you learn a lot by watching, as opposed to League of Legends, where it's like I don't even know. You think you're getting better, but you have to really just be hands on. But Hearthstone, it's like you just repeat their decision making, and you're playing just like a pro would.
Yeah.
I like to think that I play one of my decks as good as a pro would be able to play it. It's just the deck isn't as strong in my hands as it is theirs. 90% of the plays I make are the exact same plays Raynat or Trump would do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of argument about that too online of people talking about people want to like net deck, and I think that's the like way to succeed. Well, it's the same in League of Legends when like people are blaming their teammates, and it's like, oh, I lost because my teammates are bad, or I lost because I didn't have this legendary in my deck. It's like no,
Urgot destroyed us. No one banned him.
Yeah, it's like no, you lost because your decision making wasn't at the level high enough to carry yourself.
And sometimes that's just random chance.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you mulligan all your cards and then you come back with like 3 6s.
Sometimes you mulligan your cards and you come back with the exact same cards. Not the other card, not the copy of the card, that same card, because my other copy was gold. And I knew damn well that I just got rid of that shadow stuff.
No, but how do you feel? I know you haven't watched the latest OGN, but it's so Korea's doing it. Whatever Korea does gives me a lot of hope for any game because they put a lot of money behind what they do. Unlike here in the States, where we're really behind in everything we put money into.
It's because the people with the money are ashamed to lock into a sport that they're not familiar with.
Yeah, well, in the States, there's still a huge stereotype attached to it. Unlike, especially like Sweden or a lot of European countries, it's becoming more and more mainstream there. So that's why DreamHack is one of the largest international tournaments in the world, and that's hosted in Sweden.
That's right.
And I mean, even the country of Sweden recognizes, look at all this revenue of people flying in all over to go to this tournament that's sold out every year.
You'd think someone smart would be able to back it at some point, but we'd still have that stigma of being like, it's just a game. You nerdy kids are just playing a game.
Well, a great example of how strong the stigma is here in America. Look at League of Legends at was it what arena did they host it in for their finals?
Staples Center
Staples Center.
for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
They sold out, and like papers wrote about it because of how like shocked they were that a video game sold out the Staples Center. And then you immediately didn't hear anything about it.
And it was it. Yeah. No one's saying, "Hey, maybe this is actually something that we could continue to invest in."
Yeah.
Because it's a very hot market. But
anyway,
I would just say they say it's a game, but all sports are just games. You don't get anything for winning a football game. There's no like world hunger you're ending. You just get a trophy if you win the Super Bowl and you get a ring. That's it.
Could you imagine a Super Bowl where the stakes were whatever, like it's an international Super Bowl, whenever country wins? I guess soccer is a better example because it is international.
Because everyone gets to play that one.
But whatever, like in the whatever country wins the cup, they get like $1 million towards like food, like
towards food, just towards the GDP.
It's our version of the Hunger Games.
The GDP, yeah.
I didn't even realize I was describing the Hunger Games at first. I'm like, wouldn't that be really interesting if we had some sort of international tournament where people played for food?
We should get a book about that. That'd be fantastic. Oh my god, I wouldn't want to see that because we're not hungry enough as Americans to win. Like the Ugandans would just be going nuts. They'd be playing their hearts out every game. We just couldn't compete with that. Poor guys.
Oh, anyway. Korea supports Hearthstone, which is really exciting because Korea's been known as being the leader in esports. And they supported the original StarCraft for years, and they started supporting StarCraft 2. And then Europe and America got big into League of Legends before Korea did. And then down the road, they started supporting League of Legends, and now they're one of the top competitors.
Because once they pick it up, they really pick it up. They come hard at stuff.
Yeah, once again, this is coming from someone who lives in the States, so someone in Europe will have a different perspective.
Yeah, what do we really know?
But from here in the States, we don't teach people to give their all for what they want. Unlike in Korea, where like the reason they're so good at video games isn't because they're like racially superior, it's because their culture says that whatever you pick to do, you give it your all. So those pros that decide to do League of Legends, they aren't wasting their time on Reddit or like doing other.
They're goofing around. They're exercising. They're exercising their minds and playing the game all the time.
Yeah, this is their career to them.
And there's America's starting to get to the point where it's their career, but people are still looking at their other options. Like they're still going to school, and they're still trying to learn get an actual degree, so that when they're done playing League of Legends, they can move on to something else.
Yeah.
And as an American, I think that's a smart idea. You should have a backup plan if your main plan is playing a video game competitively.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's like anything wrong with that, but I'm like that's why there's such the skill gap. But what makes me so excited, what I was kind of getting at, was that Hearthstone, Korea picked up right away. I can't remember if it was in beta or right when the game was officially released. But they immediately started I know they made the announcement when it was in the beta, but I can't remember if the tournament itself started. But they immediately started invitationals on OGN, like on their premier networks. This wasn't like Korea started doing like little like grassroots tournaments. They immediately
because they have the facilities and the time and power to actually pump up some real Hearthstone value.
So
which is awesome.
It makes me excited to see that even though the game is still very new, to see that kind of support already coming for it. Because I would love to be a professional player if I could ever learn how to dedicate myself to something.
I know, it's like you can practice piano all day, every day, but you're never going to ever catch that concert pianist. Because he practices all day, every day too.
Mm-hmm.
He just has 20 years in him, and he's going to keep that gap until he quits. So you have to be good enough naturally and have the hard work to get into that area, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But it's fun because I think we idolize the pros because they truly are talented in what they're doing. And we can see it and appreciate it once we know our limitations. You're seeing someone be a better you on a webcam.
Yeah, you kind of look at what you aspire to be. I am a really analytical thinker, so I love decision making, and that's why I love watching streams, why I love Hearthstone, is it's so analytical, and I get to just exercise my decision making skills. And when you lose, sometimes it's by chance, but mostly it's because you left a minion that you thought wasn't a threat, and then they buffed it up the next turn, or you traded when you should have went for the fit. Like, it's normally a you thing.
Yep, and
you
it's
can
hard to tell at the time what was right, and in hindsight, it's always clear.
Yeah.
But the pros would know exactly which one was right. They'd
Because-
be able to make the statistically safe play every time.
Yeah. And it's an exercise of your mind, and that's something you can work on. And that's if we want to justify why we think it's a sport, I think that's what makes it a great sport. It's a skill set that you can improve and do competitively.
I think anytime there's a competition involved, you don't have to hesitate to say it's a sport. You know, just because a sport is more athletically inclined.
I agree entirely.
But you know, it requires, you know, a mild coordination of the hands. It's not really a big deal. But it really is a competitive way, just like poker's a sport.
Mm.
There's no
And chess.
There's no you know, problem if you have arthritis and you can't run. You can just sit down and play poker or chess or Hearthstone.
Yeah. Any situation where it's you against somebody else, and there is a measurable skill difference between two people. In the case of Hearthstone, you know, it's your decision making, it's your statistical analysis.
And you look at your ranking if you want to be like if you want to call to something solid and concrete. You have a legend ranking or something like that.
Yeah. But well, one of the things I was going to ask is, what do you think America needs in terms of esports, especially and specifically in the case of Hearthstone? Because right now, little like online tournaments pop up.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's two big ones, but I'm blanking on their names, so I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to guess at them.
Just say a few, whatever you got to say.
And
we love you no matter what, whatever those tournaments were.
And BlizzCon is the big LAN tournament. What do you think America needs to really start moving forward, make Hearthstone a little more mainstream? You know, StarCraft's doing their thing, League of Legends is doing their thing, they're picking up momentum. What does Hearthstone need to do?
That's a really good question. I wish someone else would have the answer so I could just listen instead of try to participate. But I think it's sponsorship. I think if Hearthstone could get on TV as a commercial, I think that would be really cool.
I agree.
Because it's already very accessible.
Yeah.
They have Clash of Clans on TV. That's the stupidest goddamn game I've ever played in my life.
I was actually genuinely surprised when I saw that commercial. I'm like, what am I watching? Wait, isn't that a mobile game?
Yeah, and I looked it up on my iPad and I was like, download, sweet. And then, you know, months later, I'm like, get that off my iPad.
I actually haven't played it. I was almost tempted when I saw the commercial, but I didn't make that jump.
What you do is you build buildings and build troops to go attack other people's buildings and troops.
Is it similar to a tower defense game, but not?
Yeah, but you're the attacker.
Okay.
And then your town is the tower defense, which is pretty automatic. The thing is, it requires 3 to 4 hours to build anything, unless you pay cash.
Oh, is it a real time kind of thing?
Yeah,
like...
unless you pay cash, then it gets instant build. And that's how it makes its money.
That's why I never got.
Because people want to play the game, but they can't wait the week and a half it takes to, you know, build a barracks.
That's the one thing I dislike about a lot of mobile games. I love the concept of mobile games, but if I could just play it as much as I want in a setting, because to me, mobile games are that burst addiction where like you're sitting in a doctor's office and you have to wait and you're playing like some like little like scrolly RPG. And then like you go to your appointment and you go home and you're like, I want to beat this level, and you just play it for like 5 hours straight and then you never touch it again for like a month.
You like that better?
I do. Like maybe that says something about my addictive personality.
The game was like, you don't love me anymore? It's like, no, game, trust me, I love you more than anything. This is good for us, the space that we're giving each other.
I don't know, because I've done both. I've done like the games that you can play in bursts and the games like
Candy Crush. I mean, you only get 5 lives.
Well, I've actually never played Candy Crush, I can say honestly, but I did play.
You call yourself a gamer?
But I have played Farmville and was Cityville the other one? What was the?
Yeah, probably. I haven't played those.
I have played those when they first came out and they were really big, and I enjoyed kind of the basic SimCity of them. But what I didn't like was the waiting period in between, and I am a poor college graduate, so I'm not going to throw money at these things.
I think the game people realize that not everyone is a poor college graduate, and some people just don't know what to do with their money, and it's so easy to press the buy button. They make it so easy to buy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a casino where it's like every slot machine has a dollar bill slot, and you're like, I don't have to get up to get more tokens. Sweet, just feed the machine here. I think that's
I don't really remember what point I was making with this, but
No.
but advertising in esports.
advertising. Yeah,
I really don't remember where I was going with that last. Anyway, it's not important.
I'm gonna go. Did you know in League of Legends in Turkey, Pepsi is the sponsor of League of Legends?
I didn't know that.
That's true.
That's cool.
Like I don't know if they have League of Legends on their Pepsi cans or not, but I mean, like apparently Pepsi is involved in the corporate side of things.
Do you know who I want to sponsor me? I don't care if I need to be a streamer, if it's for the podcast, whatever. I would love, and if you're listening, Monster to sponsor me. I love Monster.
You want to just because
I would advertise
it's
the
delicious.
shit out of that.
Guys, we'll do it right now. Monster's fantastic. It just picks you up, man. It's just
the
energy in a can.
The tea and lemonade one is my absolute favorite.
Arnold Palmer?
Yeah, the Arnold Palmer one. Followed closely by the I don't know what flavors they are. The new 0-calorie ones, the white one and the blue one.
The blue one, yeah. They're just colors.
They're just colors.
Yeah.
When you ask a friend to run to the gas station and pick you up one, you're like, can you grab me the yellow one?
And you know exactly which one it is because it's a big yellow M on the front of it.
Yeah.
Monster's fantastic. And then my third favorite monster is just like a shot of adrenaline to the heart. I like that one. I like that one too.
I would also Gunners. I wouldn't mind if they would sponsor.
Who?
Gunners. They're the yellow glasses that you wear when you game.
Oh, cool.
I went to an MLG a couple years ago, and Sony had a thing set up, and they also had Gunners set up at their booth. So I actually got to play some games with them on and off. And I have to admit, I actually could see the noticeable difference because I was playing. It was when the new Twisted Metal came out, and like I could like honestly see a difference in the shades of black.
Interesting.
Especially like in dark games like that, where they're all like really like grimy and dark colored and moot.
Yeah, having to wander through any place dark is tough if you don't have the right shading.
I will admit though that this might not be for everybody because at college I studied color theory, so I have a slightly more acute eye for spotting colors.
You're a connoisseur.
I don't know if I would say a connoisseur. That makes me sound like I did something with my life.
That just makes you sound preppy and dickish.
No, but like,
I get colors a little better than the average person.
No, but like I did editing in film, and I also did color correction, and like you have to understand what like white looks like to the eye, and
yeah, I mean I guess.
So
I don't know anything about that.
So
stuff.
Maybe the average person puts on Gunners and they don't actually notice the difference, but me, I think they're awesome.
These are just free. By the way, if you guys want to send us Gunners or Monster, we'll give you our address. Just message us on our Twitter page.
Yeah, we don't have any sponsors, so if you'd like to sponsor us, we love whatever your product is.
Yeah.
I know we mentioned Monster, but if it's Red Bull, if it's Amp,
Chick-fil-A,
if it's Chick-fil-A, if it's
just some sort of Hitler Youth organization to actually just give us money.
Yeah, if there's money involved, we are interested.
Yeah. Only if there's money. Don't make it look like I'm a bad guy by taking Hitler Youth money.
Or products. I'm sorry.
If there's products.
If there's money, products. If there's audio equipment, because this podcast would definitely use some new audio equipments.
Mm-hmm.
Audio equipments. If anyone is sponsoring dictionaries or vocabulary lessons.
Yeah, we could really use one of those for the next episode. We'll just be on Corey's lap. He'll be thumbing through it the whole time. Aardvark. Ooh, it was a good start.
Well, I think there's a myriad different number of plays you can make in Hearthstone.
Close that book, Corey.
That's one of my favorite vocab words, by the way. Myriad? I don't know why. Myriad. And I never get to use it.
So. I never get to use deluge.
Deluge?
Yeah, it's a really big storm, like a rainstorm.
So sponsors.
What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, sponsors?
We
don't need to keep
sponsors.
talking. I feel like it's a little early to be asking for sponsors, especially considering our production cost isn't that high at this point.
Well, I mean, we don't have a production cost. Think of the net gain that you would get for a no-cost show.
Exactly. It would be fantastic.
Esports sponsors, though.
Yeah. I'm just thinking Monster sponsors like really adrenaline-filled stuff, and this is kind of low octane.
Monster sponsors like EG and teams like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do they still?
I missed that one.
Do they still sponsor? Now that I say that, I realize that might date me because EG recently lost a sponsor. By recently, I mean like 6 months ago.
When Froggen left, and it was like, Froggen's gone. Sorry, guys.
I can't remember.
Sorry, guys. Your sponsorship deals are over.
They lost. Oh well. Someone can look it up.
Yeah, you
Anyway,
guys look it up. Look it up. Evil Geniuses, League of Legends sponsors. You can Google that shit.
anyway, what I think America needs though to help propel esports is I think we need more grassroots tournaments hosted by non-major organizations.
Local organizations, perhaps,
Yeah.
that make T-shirts. That would give us funding for T-shirts or something like that.
I think some great examples. I'm gonna borrow from like StarCraft and League of Legends.
Sure.
The Red Bull LAN is a group of people who worked with Red Bull to create essentially what they call a training ground, which is they invite pros from all over for StarCraft. I think they recently added League of Legends. I can't remember for sure.
Okay.
And it's right before major tournaments is when they do this, and they all play against each other with certain mentalities of like, these are the things we need to improve. And they have like a tournament winner, but it's a training ground, and they stream it all.
That's really cool.
So you get to watch the pros like go practice,
figure out their practice routines. Yeah.
I know when I used to watch a lot for StarCraft, like a Zerg player would go in against a Terran player, and they would be like, I have a lot of issue with early game siege tank pushes. So the Terran player would do nothing but early game siege tank pushes, and the Zerg player would do nothing but try to stop that.
And because they're a team, right?
No, they'd be opposites. Like they would be just other players.
Why would the other player help the other player?
Because they're also improving. Because their goal is to improve that particular build against someone who's trying to stop it.
Okay, I can see how there'd be someone who want to do that.
And like I said, that's not for everybody, but that's something that isn't like Red Bull sponsors it, but that wasn't something that MLG or Riot or somebody got together and they were like, we should make this a thing.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It can just be a little thing that someone sponsors.
And the Texas Lone Star Clash, I think that's what it's called. That was a university that wanted to host a StarCraft tournament. So they reached out to Blizzard and other sponsors, and they're like, we want to do this. We want the money to invite pros. And they did it. And I think they're on like their 4th year or something like that.
That's awesome.
But like it's stuff like that Hearthstone needs. It's people that get together and make a tournament. Like I said, there's a couple small online ones. There's a King of the Hill that's really popular.
King of the Hill, yeah.
But I mean like a LAN. Like it would be...
I
would be really excited to see someone rent out a venue or get people together. Like, there's not a lot of money in the game yet, but I think the natural process of getting better is you get people interested in watching the game first, and then the money comes second.
Yes. Sorry, I'm thinking about money.
Man, I would love money.
I was thinking like, how many times did I go out for fast food yesterday? It was not more than one. Yeah, it was like 2. Oh shit. And then I realized you were still talking. I was like, oh, I should probably jump in here. Indeed, continue.
No, but because I've heard this about other games. I like Guild Wars too, so I follow a lot of their competitive stuff.
Another competitive game. Yeah.
And one of the things that a guy who was streaming was complaining about was that a reason a lot of the pro players dropped out was because there weren't monetary rewards that justified the time investment. And
if you're good at something, never do it for free.
Yeah,
that's always a good saying.
And I agree with that to an extent, but the other side of the argument that he wasn't proposing, and I feel is kind of what I'm getting at, is if you love something, do it. If you love playing Hearthstone competitively and your goal is to be the best, play it competitively.
Yeah.
Maybe the tournament's $10, maybe it's $100, but do it for the love of the game. So I took a little issue with the guy talking about all these pros left Guild Wars because there wasn't enough reward for it. Well, it's if you love the game, like if you're playing Guild Wars because you love the game, play the game.
Yeah, and eventually, stuff comes to you. Good things happen if you just wait and you really put the effort in, and you show sponsors and people that are going to invest that there is a really high level of play. There's a cap, and people are hitting it, and people are getting really interested in watching it.
Yeah, what sponsors are interested in is people that can go to them and be like, look at the number of viewers we have watching. And if nobody's playing the game, no one's going to be watching it. If nobody's watching it, there's going to be no money.
Exactly. It's a barrier to entry. And you have to pop it yourself before you get inside. Hearthstone's getting like 20 to 40,000 concurrent.
Yeah, I mean
it's like Hearthstone's made it. They're making it right now.
They're the streamers for that, even though there's not a lot of tournaments that go on, the stream numbers for that are constantly in, I think, the top like 5 on Twitch. Like I constantly see Hearthstone towards that top.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our favorite Hearthstone decks, just to really bring it back to Hearthstone.
All right.
What's your favorite Hearthstone deck?
My 2 favorite decks. I love the Miracle Rogue.
I think we both can agree on that. It's going to be in our top 2. It's so much fun.
There's just something about it that's it's really fun when you get the combo right.
It's like swordplay. It's like it's really nice if you get one of these real flourishes and then you disarm your opponent, you put him to the ground and go, I beat you. Oh, it just feels really good.
I would probably say my second favorite deck has to be the Trump's free-to-play Shaman.
Oh, really?
I have some slight modifications that are more towards my taste, but I really like Shaman. And I've had lots of success with it, so I think it's really fun.
That was so impressive that Trump was able to do that, because it really shows you just how deep this game is. And it's not about having amazing cards and then being done with it.
And it really shows you, too, how much the person behind the cards matters, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's tons of people that have copied his deck card for card, and they're not all legend.
And I see him, and I beat him, and I'm like, did I just beat Trump? Nope. No, you did not. Not until you see his name pop up in the top left corner.
I will say that my third deck, the one that might replace Shaman when I get more experience with it, is I'm having a lot of fun with Druid decks.
They're good. They're really good. I think someone said earlier they don't fall out of the meta ever.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in pretty good shape this whole time because they're just such a solid class with those taunts and Ancient of Lore, which is I think one of the best cards in the entire game. Do you have one?
I don't remember it, to be entirely honest. There's a lot of Druid cards I don't have, and that's why I've been so reluctant to play them.
That's the one I feel like if I can't make a really good deck until I get that card. It's 7 mana, play it. It's a 5/5, and you get 2 cards, or heal for 5, which is actually backbreaking a lot of times.
I know I don't have the Druid card that does damage to all their minions. What's that one called?
Starfall?
I can't remember if Starfall is the one that does damage to one target or does damage to all of them.
It's either or.
It's one of those.
Starfall has 2 options. Option A, deal 5 damage to one target. Option B, deal 2 damage to everything. That's what Starfall is.
Is that one Starfall?
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
Starfire?
Starfire is the one I'm thinking of.
5 damage that lets you draw a card.
Oh yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. So Starfall is the one I don't have. Starfire is the one I have.
Starfire is free. So yeah.
And that's why I have it. Those free cards, got them.
But that Starfall is really big for killing off mid-range stuff. And aggro decks.
All right, so would you like to talk about your what your favorite decks are really quickly, and then we'll probably wrap it up.
I've only had my Miracle deck for about 3 days now, and it's easily my top favorite. I have more wins in that than anything else because I binge played it. I never binge play, but and I think we've explained why. It's just so much fun to keep drawing and keep making a decision every single turn. But the second one I have is a mid-range hunter that I've fallen in love with, and mid-range hunter is the one where not everyone gets really mad at it because it's not as good as just to the face. But it has that potential to just go, you know what? I'm flipping the switch. Going straight for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing hyenas. There's one called the Safari, and it's just all the low-level minions plus Bestial Wrath. And if you've never lost to a young Dragonhawk, the one that's a 1/1 with Wind Fury, that's been given Bestial Wrath and Taunt from Houndmaster, you have not played this game yet. Because that is the best combo I've ever seen. Those are my 2 favorite.
Do you have a third, or is that just your...
My third is a different but similar hunter.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 200 decks. They're different in their own way. One uses Tundra Rhino really well when one just has Tundra Rhino because it's a good card.
All right, well...
What time are we at?
We are at about an hour.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Okay, we should cut it off at an hour. I think we talked for an hour.
We have a minute to do our plugs then, so we can go ahead and end this.
Okay, sounds good.
So, if you're interested in hearing more, we're going to have future episodes coming up. We're not quite sure what our next topic is going to be, but we will post it on our Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So you should look us up. It's facebook.com/PodQuest or
PodQuest Show.
PodQuest Show.
Yep.
And then our Twitter
is @PodQuest Show.
And then our email,
podquestshow@gmail.com.
There you go.
There you go.
So PodQuest Show. Look us up on Facebook, Twitter, email, We would love to do your questions.
I'll give you my home phone if you manage to find me specifically. We can talk.
We would love to go on a date. We'll buy. Well, actually, we won't buy. We'll
Nothing
buy you
fancy.
water.
We'll split it. We'll go Dutch. It's the 21st century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
There's an Applebee's by my house. It'll be great.
All right. Well, thanks everyone to the.
And I want to say real quick that if you have questions you want to ask, we also want to take a time to do a segment in the future about answering our viewers' questions.
Yeah.
So if you have a question about a game or something nerdy that you really like Hearthstone like was today, we're gonna have a segment later that celebrates our fans.
Or even if you want to hear a specific topic for a future episode, let us know. We want feedback. We want to know what you think, what your questions are, anything. We are going to tailor the show towards what you guys enjoy. So let us know. Give us some feedback.
We give you a lot to chew on this week.
All right. Well, that's it for us. I'm Corey Boucher.
I'm Max Heckert.
And we'll see you next time on PodQuest.